Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we're here. All right, look, this is the first time back on this channel in quite some time. Or, well, I don't know exactly when I'm going to drop this, but when I'm filming this, I am on my break from YouTube. So I could drop this before the Physical Media Report. It could be after the Physical Media Report. But I just watched Leviathan on 4K, and I felt compelled to get on here and do a review of this one. Just an in-depth review because I dove into this release, guys. Get it? This is an underwater movie, and I dove into it. I watched the movie. I watched all the special features, which were not new special features, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about the sound. We'll talk about the transfer. We're going to do an unboxing of this release as well. Look at that cover art, guys. This is some awesome cover art. I do have it on the TV in the background. I'm trying that. That's like a new thing for me. I've seen other people do it, and I'm trying it as well, just putting the movie behind me. Let me know if you like that kind of stuff in the comment section below, or if it's distracting to you. Everything's changing on this channel, guys. I'm shooting on my new phone in 4K. At least that's what it tells me. This is why, look at this face in 4K. This is why I've taken so long to shoot on 4K on this channel. I don't have a face for 4K, guys. I really don't. But yeah, and I've got my microphone that I usually do live streams with. I've figured out how to hook that into the phone. Everything's changing. But look, before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. This is a very off-the-cuff review, guys. I just got done watching this and all the special features, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a review. I'm going to test my new camera, and like I said, I don't know when I'm going to drop this. It could be after Monday when I come back for the Physical Media Report episode 200, or it could be before. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I guess it just depends on what I have time for, but yeah, look, one thing that hasn't changed on the channel is it's me taking way too long to get into actually talking about the movie that I'm supposed to review on the channel. But Leviathan, let's talk about Leviathan. This is a movie directed by George P. Cosmatos, who also did Tombstone. So this guy's got quite the filmography. I know there's a couple other movies that he did that I know he did, and I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But he's a big director, and I didn't know he directed this until I got it in and popped it in and it said George P. Cosmatos. This movie's got Peter Weller in it. It's got RoboCop. It's got a Ghostbuster. It's got Ernie Hudson in this movie. It's got Richard Crenna from Rambo: First Blood. Like, the cast is just stacked in this film. Like, I was blown away. It's got one of the burglars from Home Alone, Howard. God, what is his name? I keep Daniel Stern. Why did I want to say Howard Stern? I guess because the same last name. Daniel Stern is in this movie. And then it's got a couple of smoking hot ladies in this film as well, which I recognize both of them, but I don't know what I recognize them from. But yeah, this was a damn good movie. Like, I really enjoyed this film. I didn't know quite how it would hit me, but like watching this, like, I do like these kind of films. Like, I love Deep Rising. Like, I grew up with the movie Deep Rising. I don't know if you would classify that in the same genre. I feel like I would, because they're both like underwater, or not underwater, but they both deal with the water and monsters coming up and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of in the same league. But I love movies like that, and this one really taps into that isolation, that claustrophobia that you would get in movies like Alien and The Thing, and I love stuff like that. So I thought this movie fired on all cylinders for me. Like, I thought just from the moment this movie started, like, it really built that tension and really put you in with these deep sea divers that were they took this job to mine for silver and gold and treasures and whatever. They were employed by somebody, contracted to go down there for 3 months. They had like 2 days left, and they were about ready to fulfill their job. And then they discover a ship, a sunken Russian ship, down in this spot, to this little trench area of the ocean, when a couple of them go out there to finish the job. And they go inside and they find this chest and they bring it inside, but it's infected with this some kind of like genetic virus that the Russians created, and it basically turns them into fish monsters, or it creates fish monsters. And yeah, you have this situation where they're stuck underwater and people are transforming. And there's a lot in this movie that reminds me of The Thing. And when I watched because I watched a documentary on this, they talked about how it was Stan Winston's effects team that did the special effects here, and they did a great job. But they were talking about how they were trying to take inspiration from Rob Bottin and what he did with The Thing without completely ripping him off. But there's certain scenes that really feel like they ripped off The Thing, just with the models, the creature models and stuff. But it was still pretty cool. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit overall. And like I said, it's just a really great cast that I think elevates this. Not that I'm saying this is mediocre material, but I feel like the cast just like really elevates this film. I'm definitely going to be interested. I really want to watch Deep Star 6. I've had that from Kino Lorber for forever, and I haven't watched it. That's directed by Sean S. Cunningham, who also directed Friday the 13th. But I'm going to be interested in how I feel about The Abyss that's getting ready to come out, because I haven't seen that either. I haven't seen any of the underwater 1989 films. This movie's from 1989 as well. I haven't seen any of the movies, but I'm interested how I'm going to feel about that film. Watching this, because I really enjoyed this. Am I going to like Leviathan more than The Abyss? Because The Abyss is like The Abyss. Like, it's very hyped, and it's a James Cameron film. And I'll be interested if I come out of that one, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like Leviathan a little bit more. But yeah, this was a really cool movie. I enjoyed this one a lot. I was expecting to like it, but I was like, yeah, this is a really good film, and I enjoyed it. I would recommend this. Peter Weller is really fantastic. I haven't seen him in a whole lot. I do want to check out more of his filmography. Like, I've seen RoboCop so many times, but like, I need to check out more of his stuff, because he is excellent. Like, he doesn't really get to be Peter Weller in RoboCop that much, but in this movie, like, I felt like he really shined, and I enjoyed him a lot. And the main like female lead, I thought was really great in this movie as well. And Ernie Hudson, like, everybody's great in this film. The entire cast is awesome. Richard Crenna is really fantastic in the movie as well. So yeah, I've been talking about this movie way too much. Let's move into the actual 4K restoration here. So the interesting thing about this is that this did have I think a 2K scan. Shout Factory put out a Blu-ray of this back in 2014, and I was going back and reading some of the reviews of that, and I feel like it was received pretty well. Like, it was a pretty good, Blu-ray restoration. But with this one, this is a 4K scan from the 35mm interpositive, so they were not able to secure the original camera negative for this 4K restoration. So yeah, I don't know if that was like damaged beyond repair, what exactly happened with that, but they were not able to secure that original camera negative. But from my eyes, guys, I thought this looked pretty fantastic. I don't know how that Blu-ray looked from Shout Factory, but I thought this was a really nice, clean, very detailed 4K that didn't look too clean. Like, there was still a good amount of grain in there, had a nice grain structure. You can just make everything out. Like, there's a lot of really cool underwater sequences, and I thought all that stuff looked great in 4K. Everything was perfectly contrasted and shadowed, and just the blacks looked excellent. And yeah, I didn't have any issues with this 4K. I thought it was pretty good across the board. Really good facial detail, and like the creature effects, like, not to take anything away from it, I mean, that Stan Winston's team worked on it, and they're great effects. They certainly borrow from The Thing, if not lift from The Thing, but they're great effects, and they look fantastic in 4K. And there's a lot of great special effects sequences in this film that do look fantastic with that 4K. So I don't know, in comparison to the Shout Factory release, because I didn't get that one and watch that one, I don't know how this looks in comparison to that, whether or not I can recommend the upgrade. But I did pop in the Blu-ray of this one, which is a 4K scan, and that looked good, but you don't have the depth that you have with that 4K. With the HDR and the Dolby Vision and all that stuff, you just don't have that depth. And the colors definitely are more vibrant on the 4K and just really pop. The movie just looks a lot better to me with that 4K in comparison to the Blu-ray with the 4K scan. But the Blu-ray with the 4K scan also looks really good. So if you want to save a couple bucks and get that, like, it still looks really good. But I think with the HDR, like, it just adds a lot of depth and just makes it feel more like a weighty film. And that's what I love about 4K. So, but other than that, guys, I I had no issues with this transfer. I thought I don't know what anybody's saying about this. I haven't really seen anybody talk about Leviathan, to be honest. But I thought it looked great. I thought it was a really great 4K. So I would recommend the 4K restoration here. Now, getting into the sound, you do have the 5.1 and you also have the 2.0, both of those audio options here. I listened to this with the 5.1. I thought everything sounded great. The score and the music in this is fantastic. I think it's actually, let me see real quick, guys. Of course, I'm always so prepared for all my reviews. Jerry Goldsmith did the score for this, and it's a fantastic score. I love the music. It provides such a great atmosphere to this film. So I thought the score was excellent here. Everything sounds great. Like, there's some big moments in this movie that require that big like sound. I wish that this would have had the Atmos setup. I don't know what, goes into the sound and stuff, guys, or why they couldn't necessarily get that Atmos setup, but I think this would have benefited from that Dolby Atmos setup for sure. And I can understand if people have criticism of that because you just have the 5.1. I thought the 5.1 sounded great. I've never seen the movie before. That's all I've listened to this on. I thought it sounded good. You get really immersed in the atmosphere of the movie, the underwater environments, and there's some big action set piece moments towards the end, and I thought everything sounded great. When people are running across those like metal bridges and stuff, you can hear the clattering and stuff. All that stuff sounds fantastic with the 5.1. Now, getting into the packaging, guys, let me show you this packaging real quick. I don't know if I'm going to cut to like an unboxing or anything. Got this microphone in my way, guys. This is all very new to me. I'm sorry, guys. But let me show you the back right there. If I can zoom in, you guys can see the details and the synopsis, the special features right there, the casting list, all that good stuff. And then we'll take this out of the slipcover. And this has reversible cover art on the inside, which I got to give Kino some credit for that. Every now and then they will slip us some reversible cover art, and I'm always here for it. But right here you have the casting list, which was not on the back of the slipcover. No, it was on the back. Usually it's not with the studio stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place. But let me open this up. I got the Blu-ray. For some reason, I don't know if these knobs just aren't shallow or deep enough, but like my disc keeps falling out every single time I open this thing up, which is kind of irritating. It's just not going on there very good. They need to make them a little bit thicker, a little bit more length to the knobs. I'm trying not to get dirty, guys, but that's what it is. We got the 4K right here. The Blu-ray is in my player, but it's the the generic Kino artwork. That is no artwork. That's what the Kino artwork is. No artwork. But look, you expect that. Look, it's okay when you expect it. When a studio or a label, they do it over and over again, they build a habit of it, and you expect it. It's fine. If they were doing awesome disc art like every release and then all of a sudden they didn't do it, then I would be upset. But like, you expect this from Kino, and it's fine. I love Kino. We'll flip this around. This is just the regular artwork right there. So, all right, let's get this back in the slip cover, and let's take this review home, shall we? So let's get to the special features. We have a brand new audio commentary, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We have a brand new audio commentary by film historian Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson, which Nathaniel Thompson is on like every single Kino Lorber release. I'm pretty sure he works for Kino Lorber. But I listened to a little bit of this. Usually when the credits hit, I'll pop on the audio commentary just to kind of see their closing thoughts, and they seem to have a really good time revisiting the film. Then we also have a little kind of mini documentary. It's about 40 minutes long. It's called Leviathan Monster Melting Pot, and they call it a featurette, but it really is kind of a documentary. And it's a lot of people that worked on Stan Winston's team, and they're talking about the special effects, and they really dive into the problems that were going on during the production of this film, and they do so in a very candid way, and I really appreciated that. So that was a really good documentary. They were just talking about how they didn't have a lot of time to do what they needed to do, and they wish they had more time. And again, that goes into the special effects are good, guys. They really are. The visual effects, the makeup effects, all that stuff's really good. I thought everything looked great, but there's not a lot of imagination, I guess, to it, or originality to the stuff that you see in this movie. I guess what I'm trying to say, but that's a really good little mini documentary. All this stuff was on the Shout Factor release that came out back in 2014. There is nothing new here, so if you have that release, there's nothing new here in terms of special features. You also have Dissecting Cobb, an interview with actor Hector Alonze Zondo, an actor in the film, one of the characters who was also really great in the movie. Really enjoyed his performance. That guy's been in other stuff too. I don't know exactly who he is, but I know he's been in other stuff. And then you get an interview, Surviving Leviathan, interview with actor Ernie Hudson. This is a great interview. And like I said, these are 10-year-old special features at this point. If you've seen them, you already know. But I thought this was a really great interview because Ernie talks very candidly about a certain thing that happens at the end of the film that he was not a fan of. And he talks about being in the theater with a bunch of people in his neighborhood or his hometown or something, and how they weren't fans of it either. And he talks about how he was battling the director and stuff over this decision. I don't want to spoil what happens at the end, so I'm not going to get into the details there, but it's a really good interview with Ernie Hudson, and Ernie Hudson's just a legend. So yeah, a lot of great stuff that was included in this release. Again, nothing new in terms of special features. There is that new audio commentary, but look, if you don't have them already in your collection, like, they're great features and they're definitely worth a watch for sure. So overall, guys, like, this is available right now, I believe, on Amazon for $26.99. Also the Kino Lorber website for $26.99. I would say get this. Like, I recommend this. It's a really cool sci-fi creature feature underwater film, and I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. So thank you all so much for watching my review, my 4K review of Leviathan from Kino Lorber. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and drop me a comment down below. What do you think of the movie? And are you going to pick up this release? I'll leave the links down below if you are interested. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Subscribe and turn on bell notifications for future videos, and follow me on my social media accounts down below in the description. And we'll see you next time.